Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Save Point Society. I am your host, Dan, aka Goldenspider, and with me once again is the rest of my friends here at the Society. To my right is my good friend in the Rad Shades, Anthrometal. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm tired, but I'm pretty good. But I'm just tired, always tired. But I got a drink, I got bevs. I'm talking about a sick game with some cool friends.
Oh yeah. And below me is our other good friend, Opulent Pasta, your overly enthusiastic chat bestie, also known as Taylor. How you doing?
Hello. I am so good today. Lots of errands, lots of accomplishments, and especially now, like Anthrometal said, we get to talk about a very intriguing game. Can't wait to crack this one open with you guys.
Alrighty, and to the lower right in the purple, having some technical issue today, so we don't get to see his beautiful face. It is Pandafinn. How you doing?
Oh my god, you call me beautiful? I'm good. I'm vibing in a garage with my feet out on a cozy beach chair, relaxing.
Hell yeah. Oh. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and if this is your first time with us, you might be wondering what exactly is the Save Point Society. To put it simply, this is a video game book club. Like a book club, each month one of our society members will be picking a game for us to play over the month, and then we all gather here on twitch.tv/neonpocketdimension to talk about it. And at the end of the episode, the next person will be picking our next game to play and discuss in a round-robin fashion. If that intrigues you, and we strongly encourage you to play alongside with us over this next month and to join the conversation live here in the Twitch chat, or if you are watching later, in the YouTube comments below. For our second episode today, our game, which was chosen by Anthrometal, is Slay the Princess. Originally released on October 23rd, 2023, published by Black Tabby Games, and has a 90 on Metacritic and a 96 on OpenCritic, and has the very succinct description on its Steam page: "You're here to slay the princess. Don't believe her lies." Which doesn't really tell you much, but that is exactly what the game it thrives on. As it is, in my experience, it is very much a game you want to go into as blind as possible. If that isn't enough for you, however, it also says the following in the About This Game section, also on the Steam page. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it'll be the end of the world. She will do everything in her power to stop you. She'll charm and she'll lie, and she'll promise you the world, and if you let her, she'll kill you a dozen times over. You can't let that happen. Don't forget, the fate of the world rests on your shoulders. You're not going to listen to him, are you? We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Slay the Princess is a visual novel type game with full voice acting and how long to beat listed at about 3 hours to beat if you just do the golden path. And for that reason, we'll probably not have much to say before we go into spoiler territory, but we will of course put out a audio and visual warning before we do so. What did you guys all think about Slay the Princess?
I think it's going to be real tough to talk about any part of this game without spoilers, because being in the nature of a visual novel, like essentially, it's like an entire book is a spoiler when you start reading it. But something I had a thought of, like I thought I was making like some profound thing when I was sitting there. I was like, man, this is crazy. It's like a roguelike visual novel, and then my brain just went, that's a choose your own adventure book. That those exist. I mean, most
games are based on.
Most visual novels have some kind of, I won't say necessarily golden path, multiple endings, but not a lot. So, let's say in the realm of like 3 to 4. This game, I don't even remember how many it has. Like there's so much variety, and I even tried looking up, like once I got done with my first run and then started going back for subsequent ones, getting different choices and making different things. Like I tried looking up, like, hey, how do I get this, or like, what is this path? And it's a mess. It's like I would love to see like the logic system behind it all, to see how things interconnect, because I think even part of it is just pure RNG, but that's just me speculating. But no, this game is phenomenal. I picked it mainly because of all of the good word of mouth that I heard from it. First heard about it from an old friend of mine. She posted about it, and that was shortly before it took over a couple years ago. At least in my circle, everybody was playing it. Everybody was like, holy crap, this game's writing is insane. And yeah, off of it. Also, I didn't know there was voice acting when I picked it. So that's very, very nice. Even though the voice acting is not exactly, like, there's not a lot of voice actors, but there's enough.
3, I think.
Yeah.
2 for sure. Maybe 3.
Probably 3.
Crazy.
Let's see. I do believe let me see here. They do shout it out. And we are playing the pristine cut version, which was a re-release, which probably did add the voice acting, called the pristine cut, which I believe was released back in 2024.
I think it came out, the pristine cut was coincided with the console release, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yes. It says fully voice acted by the impeccable Jonathan Sims and Nichole Goodnight. So a lot of applause for them, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
And plus, I mean, any game like this, or another one I'll put on there is like Disco Elysium, just because the sheer amount of text in the different voices that they had to put on is really, it's what is it, like the altars from last year, where one guy did like 13 voices or something like that, and they're all different. It reminds me a lot of the experience there. But yeah, I don't know how much further I want to go into it, but I was very I think because I came into it with the expectations of, I think they were already set pretty high from all the word of mouth that I had. So it's not that I was blown away by it, but I very much enjoyed it, and I am very much looking forward to going back and getting the rest of the memories that I didn't get before. Because even after going back, and I wonder how much I played this, I can actually check right now.
Yeah, what's everybody's
achievements? I'm so mad. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, so what's everybody's runtime clock sitting at for this game?
Oh, yeah, I should check that.
I thought this was a lot longer. It says I've only done 4 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah. But I feel like I've done a lot more than that.
They pack a lot into a game. Mine is sitting at 3.3 hours, and I basically just did the golden path. I haven't gone back at all for any of the extras.
One of the people I follow on my on Xbox that fully completed it, they did it in 18 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I don't know if they played more of it, but knowing how they are with completionist stuff, yeah, that's pretty crazy. And just going and looking at on the memories menu, one of the locks after you beat the game, and it's like, oh, there's so much more here. How do I even get that?
I want
like.
And I have a 7.3 so far, but
oh dang,
I thought I was getting close to getting all the memories and all the achievements. I don't think so now, hearing the 18 hours. That's exciting. Ooh.
I want to say, just from me searching my brain from when I looked at the gallery or whatever after I finished the game, I want to say there was 32 to 36 something different memories or endings or scenes or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds right. I'm like trying to see if I have that written anywhere. I know
So there's
that
like,
gamer 131, but that's obviously not
Yeah.
all specific, like memories and like things specifically. Panda, what was your time?
I got about 4 or 5 minutes in. We'll get into it once we get to the spoiler territory. But you guys are saying there's a lot to it. It was a very short game for me. Very like straight to the point.
let me guess, you followed directions right away.
Yeah, it was.
I cannot
It
wait
was
to
like
hear what
Slay
your
her.
first choice was.
Buckle up.
But generally speaking, I will, but without getting into spoilers, I do think this was I mean, there's a reason why it's earned its flowers. It is a stellar visual novel. It is a stellar piece of interactive fiction. Everything down to like the gentle animation and movements to give you just a bit of unease and just a bit of like breathing of life to everything made it even more mystical, which I thought was super cool. And the humor of it just had me rolling. Happy next time game, dang. And I wish I could say that like 17 times over just from the few hours of experience. My first run or my main like golden path, I'm gonna like go in, roll credits, like do that kind of a run was 2.3 hours. And then everything after that has been tinkering and whatnot. But yeah, blown away.
Yeah.
What a cool game. Well done.
I was gonna piggyback off of that and just like the use it's all hand drawn but like in almost a watercolor-esque format or not watercolor like a charcoal painting or charcoal drawing like
pink and charcoal.
but there's also such a subtle use of because it's mainly black and white but there's color in there some places.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
And when it pops and it comes out of nowhere, it's very like, oh, whoa, I thought this was like so much subtlety in everything it does and very much a presenting of just there's more to this than what you think.
Excellent use of sound too, just like the different metallic noises, paper noises, feather noises, things like that, all really delicately put together. And just like to get to the credits and realize they did everything through RenPy, spelled REN, PY, which is a visual novel system that I've used before. It's kind of like your graduated next step from Twine when you get into coding games and interactive fiction. And, I'm used to seeing RenPy be used for lots of romantic choose your own adventure games, things like that. And to know that this was that same engine is just really inspiring. Like, oh, this is the kind of cool thing that you can do that's the elevated next step. It was very interesting.
Yeah, and I did just show the trailer there. If we're watching, it is shouted out in the Steam page, so I'll just go ahead and shout them out as well here. The very gorgeous hand drawn art is shouted out. Every pixel and every sprite and background is drawn traditionally by pen and paper by Ignatz-winning graphic novelist Abby Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Flowers. Crazy.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It almost has a oh my god, am I going to say his name wrong? Junji Ito? Like, kind of vibe behind it. The mangaka. Well-known, like, horror, kind of surrealist, black and white,
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, I can see that. It does sort of have that, just like the way that depth is built by the layers of the ink and everything. Ooh. Yeah, very cool style.
Also, I've had it just sitting on the title screen, and I didn't realize, like, I've never sat on it for too long, and I didn't know that there was, like, a jump scare in it.
Oh, wow.
And so I was sitting here like...
Oh my god. Oh, I'm curious what it is. I'll have to open it and let it sit here in a second. That's so funny. Yeah, I was not expecting to I don't know why at this point, like you would think I would see the narrative like depth coming from a mile away with how incredible certain, games have been in the last few decades, but I was not ready for how far it went, like deep wise. The way it touched my soul was very unexpected, and yeah, it just felt very seen by this game. It had it got me pulled in with the humor and the pacing of how everything was kind of going down. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I think I know what this is. I think I see the coding of the artistry behind it, kind of like what Jacob was getting at earlier. Or not Jacob, excuse me. So sorry. Nick was getting at earlier. But yeah, then it just goes that next step, and that was really incredible to see. I can't wait to hear Panda.
Yeah.
Oh, just you wait.
Yeah, I think for what I have to say on it as well is also, yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go where it was, and also I wasn't expecting, mostly from like the Steam like generated, like community generated like category like tags and whatnot. It has it listed as a horror game. I mean, we can get into this, another time. I've always said those team generated tags are absolute doo-doo. This is not really a horror game, in my opinion. It has some scary moments, but it's not horror in any way.
I would say it's more like existential and surrealist than, like I was listening to another podcast, earlier, and they were on the topic of liminal spaces, and it's liminal spaces is not inherently horror, but it's that kind of like existential, like something is amiss, something is wrong here, or something that I'm uncomfortable with, and I feel like this game does so much of that, and it like lies right below the surface, and every like consecutive run you do gets you like nothing is answered. Like, it's all just more questions. It's all just like, what do you mean? Like, when you get to some of those, I know we'll talk about it in a bit, some of the endings and paths and revelations and stuff, that you get to it and you're just like, I'm even more confused. What is happening here? And there are some things you can kind of, glean, like infer what the nature of this entire setting is. But like outside of that's why I think it leans more, like you said, I don't think it's outright horror. There are like kind of horrific things in it, but it's more, more that kind of existential, not necessarily dread, but just it's not very comfy. It's very like on edge, not as much as like not like anxiety inducing, but just like, it does such a good job of like pushing you forward to like the next question and having more and wanting to know more.
Yeah, I mean, with this game taking place pretty much entirely in the said cabin and like the small path up to the cabin, it does a lot with that setting.
Yeah. Oh man, I was not prepared for some of the stuff that happens there.
Yeah, we can go into that a bit more when we go into spoilers, because I think that is definitely more of a spoiler area.
Have we danced around it enough?
Let's see. Yeah. Do you guys have any more to say before we go into spoilers? Or should we just go into it?
All I have to say now is probably spoilers, so.
Yeah, I really want to unpack what you just said, Anthrometal. I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like wow, yeah, no, but I just love a good fairy tale, and this was an excellent fairy tale, and that is the last that I will leave it at.
You just like clicked something. You said good fairy tale. This feels like a Grimm's fairy tale or Grimm's tale, but before Disney, like, yes.
Grim fairy tales.
Yeah. Not like the Brothers Grimm, right? This is not the movie, but like the actual ain't like I want to say ancient, but old fairy tales, right? Yeah. Like that's what this kind of reminds me of is like you just made that connection by saying fairy tale.
Yes.
And it's it very much is like a parable of in each oh man. Go on.
Oh my God, send it. Let's get into spoilers, baby.
Yeah. So we will officially go ahead and jump into spoiler territory here. So, who want to kick it off?
Okay,
Panda.
I killed her. I murdered her. It was very easy. The game told me to kill her. I killed her. I stabbed her. I let her bleed to death. Game was over, and then I closed the game and uninstalled it and never looked back. It was very short. I don't know why it took you guys 3, 4, 7 hours to kill her. It took me 1 minute.
Did you really? Is that really what you did?
Well, yeah, I killed her, and then I continued to play after like a week.
Okay.
So
But
Your notes, love it.
yeah, I wanted to see how difficult it would be to kill her, so I just followed the path
I mean, fair.
to just kill her, and I was like, they're not gonna like resist. They're not gonna like be like, are you really sure? Like try to like stop me. And no, they just let me kill her.
Awesome.
hold up, I have to find this here. Where is so the good ending, which is what you get. The description of this achievement is, was that really the whole game? I don't get the hype.
I don't think
So this is for you, Panda. Also, fun fact, on Xbox at least, only 23% of players have unlocked it.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't
So
think
because a lot of players don't like being told what to do and have minds of their own, Panda, they're not just going to listen blindly to a narrator to tell them to go do something. They're going to have questions.
Have you heard of this hit game called BioShock? All right, would you kindly kill the princess?
I'm sorry, but look at my
A man chooses, a slave obeys. Okay, someone asked me kindly if I could kill her, and I killed her.
And somebody was telling you, would you kindly make all these decisions? No, you did them yourself. You push the buttons.
Yeah, well, they kindly asked me to slay the princess, and I
They didn't kindly ask you to do shit.
I'm obliged.
Yeah, I was like,
so-
you know what?
So you're saying that a slave obeys?
So are you
I'm saying I killed the
good
princess.
ending, quote unquote, the good ending. What is the name of the good ending? Is it called the good ending?
It's one of the achievement is called the good
so
ending.
I don't have that.
Neither do I.
I don't think I have it either.
Okay,
All
cool.
right.
I never played the game right.
I literally my favorite achievement that I got in it is it's called Our Song, and it says finish the game, and then it says the good ending doesn't count in parentheses. So when I read that, I was like, what does that mean? Like
That is, I believe, that is the achievement I got as well when I ended the game.
So I posted my gallery in the regular our regular chat, not this chat. If you wanted to see the ones that I don't have yet, but man, there's so like trying to undo the riddles of what vessels like and what these little things mean, and like and then the end of everything. And I have I only have like, let's see, how many is this? 5 by 420, and I only have 5 unlocked, like 5 scenes.
Yep.
What does that mean?
Oh.
there's so much left
You
here.
have 5 scenes unlocked?
No. In the end of everything.
Like 5 voices?
No. In the end of everything, there's that's like after you get you do 5 runs, right? Mm-hmm. And you get 5 of the vessels. And then after that, you go into like kind of I don't want to call it in game, but it's like it finalizes that. that kind of run and gets you into the ending, essentially. So there's, I guess, around 20 endings, and I have 5 of them.
Okay.
Not including. I'm sorry.
Nothing. Just clarity
Yeah.
was breaking me. That's all.
Yeah. But to go back to what I was saying earlier, how it plays with the stuff, like in the cabin, right? Because it'd be like a Spider, like you were saying, it's so. There's only like 2 scenes, right? It is the path to the cabin and the cabin, and I mean, I guess the dungeon in the basement, right? But the way that changes for every vessel, and I think I counted. There's like, how many vessels are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think there's like 20 vessels, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, 22. So there's 22 vessels overall, and that the cabin changes along with the basement for all of them. Like the adversary has one different than the nightmare and the specter. Like they're all so radically different. And when you get there, you're like, oh, this one's overgrown by thorns. Wild.
Yeah, you walk into the bitch's house and you're like, oh, this one's gonna hurt, isn't it? Oh, I guess talk about that from the
Wraith. Yeah, the nightmare. The nightmare was one. It's like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, I think that was my first as well.
Yeah, so do you...
No, the nightmare, that was like my mid game of the first, like talking about like my first true run.
So
when did I get Nightmare? Oh no, Nightmare was later, I lied. What was my first?
Yeah, so while you're looking that up, to dive a little bit more into the kind of, a little bit more into spoilers here. So basically, like you do basically 3 runs, and then kind of like the truth is revealed and tells you what is actually kind of going on and sets up like Act 2 of the game. Do you guys think those first 3 runs are vessels in their own right that we can go back and get, or do you think there's something else completely?
No, I mean, I think they're like does it vary, or what do you mean?
Just like I try like let me see if I can find the B-roll here. So one of my very second run, my I guess Prince, I guess we'll call him, ended up in like a void.
The hero?
The hero ended up in like a void where he couldn't escape and he just like died. And
oh yeah, I've done that. I got that one.
And I tried to go back to there after we found out about like the vessels and the being, I guess, after you die, and I could not get back here. And I was just wondering if do we think that's something separate?
I think there's certain recursive loops that they've coded, but I think they've all because of that. Because they have locked off certain things once you've gone to them, they have different ones that you can hit that are like effectively the same scene, but you're not going to this box that is the scene, you're going to this box that is that same scene. And so I think there are things that get locked off that you can only see again from a like brand new file. Because there's some stuff that, like you said, I haven't been able to recreate, including my very first thing that happened, which is nuts. So but I've never started a new file.
I just wonder then if these are vessels in their own right, how are you supposed to 100% a file if they're locked off before you are able to collect vessels?
So you can still collect them after you quote unquote finish the Act 2 or 3. Once you get to day 3, I don't remember if that's the right thing. After you pass once you get an ending, you can go back and collect more vessels. Because, like, I think it's... Okay. Is it 3 or 5? I thought it was 5. But maybe I'm mistaken there.
I think it's 5,
Because you have, like, your initial... This is the start. And then you have your second pass, if you will. And then you have your, like, conclusion, epilogue, I'm in the long quiet moment. And then that's right. That's your it's like a 3-act structure over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I believe, unless I'm just
saying. What's it called? because I know, like you were saying, things locked off. You cannot get the good ending if you have already started somewhere in the middle. Also, you can't turn away from. You also can't turn away from the cabin when it gives you that option at the beginning. That the
That was the first thing I did.
like, I don't know about if she's the princess at this point, but she'll straight up like interject and be like, "You can't do that. You've already committed. Keep going." And you're just like, like,
interesting.
just straight up takes the control away from you. He's like, "No, it's too late for that. You got to go."
Because it was like pulling teeth trying to just not go. Because that was like when you first start the game, you get your first intro of God many, and I do appreciate that there is like a mechanic to be able to like skip dialogue that you've seen before, because there are certain things that are sound the same but are new, and it won't skip if you do that, if you try that button press. But otherwise you excuse me, backing up, you start with your first intro of, "Hello, you are here. We read it in the very beginning, and you have this job, and you're going to go do this." And then it gives you 11 choices. And of those 11, there's so much humor in all of them. And there's ones about like wanting it to end, or have you considered that maybe I want the world to end? Like, I think they're all so humorous and so good.
Oh yeah, death to the monarchy.
Like that one. Was that Pandas that I assume that you chose?
No, so what's fun is you cannot pick any of those choices and still get the good ending. You have to pick the just go.
Oh, it's just okay, just go, not the monarchy one.
I believe so. I might don't.
Panda,
but
what was you first?
Let me check my notes.
Did you say Anthro or Panda?
Panda.
Oh, my bad.
Just
like, I was narcissist. I think he's talking about me.
No, we were talking, but
that is a good question. What did I get? I think whatever I'm trying to look at my notes and trying to remember what I wrote when I encountered. I remember after I killed her, I then refused to go to the cabin.
Yes.
And it kept pushing me to go to the cabin to the point where it put walls everywhere but the cabin.
Yeah, the narrator's like, "No, you are only, okay, fine. You walk through the woods and look, the cabin again." You're like, okay.
Yeah, and then there was multiple. Okay, so in my notes, I wrote, "I slayed her, short game. Why is the princess evil? So many cabins. I fought back from the narrator. Now there's a wall. And then I obtained the voice of the hero and voice of the contrarian."
Yeah.
When I did that.
That is another part that I thought it was so interesting in this game. Is it is a time loop, but also not, because when the time loop resets, you have this voice in your head that's like the you that just died, or just did something that's like that is also trying to like convince you of the right thing to do, and
there's a point where like it towards one of the Act 3 resolutions where the narrator is like, these are like, it basically posits the idea, because he's like, "I don't know what's happening. What did you do?" And is where he brings up like, these must be different realities. Like you said, it's not a time loop, it's more like a reality loop. Like each ending that you reach is a conclusion to all those choices that lead up to it, right? And so this one is doomed or for whatever, but it ultimately, what won't matter once the end of everything has consumed enough of the vessels and you get to the long quiet. And also seeing that goddamn mirror that disappears every fucking time you try and touch it.
Everyone touched it on the first run, right? Everyone touched the mirror the first time.
I touched it every time. Every time it appeared.
Every time.
I do remember now. The first princess I encountered, it was when every time I kept talking to her, it kept breaking the reality into mirrors until they formed into one singular princess.
Oh,
interesting.
Cool. So that
it was a
must
princess
be
with multiple limbs and stuff.
Yeah, the fractal.
Yeah. So that
Weapon?
As the ending has her as the end of everything, or maybe I'm thinking wrong. Maybe because there's also,
beginning.
I think one of these has a ton of arms.
Yeah, I actually took a picture of one with a bunch of arms. The
I mean,
razor, maybe?
definitely one of the times where I got back, like to like the being at the very end of it all that you give the vessels to. One of them was definitely like a very like classic like eldritch horror type of bane with like 50 arms and 50 faces and
A true angel.
Oh, yeah.
The moment of clarity, I think, is like that. It has like the Dark Souls troll face. Like it has a hole for its face.
okay. I don't.
I also encountered that as well.
I got that.
It's
So like the princesses that I can remember, my computer's dead, so I can't go back and look. But the ones I can remember, and glancing at my notes, the princess that was from the fractal, from like the multiple Princess in One. I encountered the one without a face. I encountered the one that turns into knives.
There's a couple of different knife people, I swear.
Yeah. I encountered one that chewed her arm off nonchalantly, and that threw me off.
I think that's the Wraith.
Yeah.
Maybe.
One where I think so, because it was also the same one where I went back to the cabin, I killed her, and then I went back to the cabin again, and she set me on fire while she was a skeleton.
Mexico. I love her so much.
That's great.
Perfect princess.
Yeah. But
The perfect princess is the adversary. I have a type.
Is that the one that keeps killing you with the knives?
No, the adversary has like a spiked tail and wings. And
I think I got that one too. Yeah.
I didn't encounter her.
How?
look, just give me Karlach is all I'm saying.
There.
I will say I do appreciate the game. After I think it was while I had the Contrarian, where I had to pick up the knife, and the Contrarian was like, "You should hold it reverse grip," and I was like, "You know what? Absolutely." And then I liked how, and I liked how the mouse cursor, when you have the knife, it has you like stab. But when I have it reverse grip, it then switches, so my character is now holding it reverse. I thought that was cool.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Oh, cool.
Such a good attention to detail.
Before we get into like the ending, because I really want to talk about that as well. I have to say, one of my favorite. I like just absolutely just burst out laughing because it was just such a silly like process of events that I had, where at some point the hero and the princess were basically just duking it out, and she like ripped my heart out. He was like, "Nope, I'm still living. I'm still going."
Yep.
Oh my god.
Did anyone encounter the moment of heart, lungs, liver, nerves?
Yes.
Oh.
I thought that was cool.
What was that guy? That one's name?
It's the voice of the paranoid.
Yeah, the paranoid.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I got it when she stabbed me with a knife, and I kept going back, and she ripped off her arm to have a knife, and she kept repeatedly having knives. So then when I got the paranoid and she like killed me, the paranoid kept repeating hearts, lungs, nerves, liver to keep me alive while I'm talking with her.
Yeah.
And
I got that. I got that, but I don't remember all the different knives. So, like,
When she is like, she gets rid of her arms and then now they're knives and she's just coming at you with knife arms.
Didn't get that.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
think
like a
I,
cyberpunk. It's very
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
she's-
Yeah, that's awesome. But I can tell you that happens more than once then, because I got that as well.
Ooh.
Like
Yeah,
I can't remember for who it was, but it was where he just repeating it over and over in like the back of your head. And one of my other characters I had at the time, one of the other voices was like, "What are you doing? Stop that!" He's like, "I'm keeping us alive. Shut up."
Yeah, at some point I just got all of the voices at once, even the
Oh
ones
my
I haven't
gosh.
encountered yet.
Yeah, same.
I think I got that too.
The thing is that happened to me on my second like I don't want to say second playthrough, but my second like
Loop.
what I guess when getting more vessels that I hadn't seen. And that happened. I was like, I don't know who any of these people are. Who are all of you? You weren't in the first one. Where did you come from? And I'm like, did I get the actual ending? No. I just got another ending.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah, the cool part about the Blade Princess, real quick. So I encountered her by, I don't remember what caused it, but I tried to stab her and she stabs me with a knife. We're both bleeding out. We die. I come back,
yeah.
and then she's like, "Hey, are you going to come over here?" And we're like, "No, you're going to stab us." And she's like, "What? I'm totally not going to stab you." And we're like, "No, you're going to stab us if we get closer." And then she's like, forget it, and rips off her arm, and it's a knife. She kills us. We come back again, and then she has 2 knife arms, and then her legs become knives, her body becomes knives, and then her head becomes knives. And then eventually the hero is like, "Let me take care of this," and starts fighting her for you because you kept dying, and this is like an endless loop.
See, like I got into it was with the adversary that there was a loop kind of thing. It was like basically you're just beating the shit out of each other because the adversary loves to fight. It's like, are you a fighter? I want to fight you, and then you just start beating the shit out of each other, and none of you will die. And it goes to the point of like the cabin decaying around you because you've been fighting each other for so long.
Oh my god.
And yeah, it's such a sick like thing of, oh man.
it's fun. Did either
I
of
want
you
to play
get,
another. I want to play loop.
did either of you get the version of the princess that's like a dominatrix, like 30 foot tall?
No, excuse me?
I'm sorry. Explain exactly in detail
Was it
because I
all
might
of
need to
it?
research this.
Look, you could check out the B-roll. I have it up on the B-roll right now.
Who are you? Better.
My lord. Also, when you guys talked to the entity, did you wait and tell her you're not going to do anything?
Oh,
she-
it was different every time.
I don't
Okay,
recall
so-
her doing that.
So when I first encountered her, she was like, "Oh, you got to go out there and find more princesses so that way we can all be one." And I had an option. I kept having an option of, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to wait right here. And I waited to the point
Yeah,
and crashed
I
my
did do
game.
that.
It completely slowed my game down. And I'm like, huh? And I reopened
Yeah,
it. It's like, oh, so are you going to do it?
It crashes
There's,
your game and then you reopen
That's
it.
fun.
It immediately picks up where you
Oh.
left off. It's like, I told you I would wait for you as long as you needed, and I'm right here. And it's like,
Nice.
that's just such
I
a
God,
Great
good
pick.
bit. The I wonder how that works on console because I haven't experienced that one yet. But I did experience one where it was like you're talking with her, and it's more like one of the more amicable ones where you're just talking, and then it's like, yeah, I don't feel like doing anything right now. It's like, okay, I'll wait for you, and it kicks you back to the main screen. But all the options, there's like 12 options that are just continue. Like that's it. There's no new game, no memories, nothing. It just says continue, 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 continue,
That's
continue.
okay.
And so you go back in, they're like, well, have you made up your mind? You're like, oh,
yes,
While you guys played, did the narrator ever take over for you?
yes.
Yes.
I think he tried, but no. They definitely took over a couple times, but all of the voices were all like, what the hell is happening? Stop that.
I
I had 2 encounters. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just kidding. I had that same thing that that Anthro was talking about, but the opposite way, where I had just infinite options of slay the princess, slay the princess, slay the princess, and like one like resist, and then I kept doing the one resist, and then the narrator took over, tried to kill the princess as we were leaving, so the princess killed me. Because I was like,
I'm so sorry.
because I was
She's
like
like,
holding
"Oh,
the
what
narrator
was it
back
you?"
barely, just like holding the knife like right at her skin, and then she just like took it and like just stabbed stab me.
Yeah, I had that twice. One where I was resisting, and then he stabbed her in the back, and then she killed me. And then the first time I encountered it was when I was telling her I'm going to free her. And so that's when like she was biting off her arm to get out of it. I cut off her arm, and then I killed her. And she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. If this will make you happy, I'll go ahead and die." And I'm like, I didn't want this.
Yeah.
I also
That's where it.
go ahead.
I was gonna say it kind of plays into the. You know, when we talk about, I know one of the questions you had us posited was like, do you agree with the princess? And it's like, I don't know if the individual vessels have any agency.
So
Right? Because like,
so I was yeah, we'll get back to that because I did mean something specific and that
sorry.
yeah, that's not that I did not mean what you thought I meant with that.
Okay.
I mean, just like I think we can sit here and talk about the various endings that we got just so many times, just the rest of this podcast. But I do want to shout out one other ending that I got that was also fun. Is basically the hero and just sees another set of chains next to the princess, and so I had a I want, hey, this looks like it can fit me, slunk, and they're just all just stuck there for like eternity, while the cabin is like decaying around them.
Yeah, the princess is just like, really? Yeah, it's like, oh, this fits perfect. Click. Oh,
that option. That's wild.
Yeah, same. I did like how the cabin kept changing to different styles every time I was playing. Like I got a normal cabin.
Yeah, each one reflects the nature of the vessel. Did any of y'all do the just like the straight? It's the damsel, and it's like she is the actual pure princess, has giant eyes, like anime eyes, and they're like. But it changes the cabin into legit, just like, oh, this is a castle tower, like an opulent castle tower.
I think so. I got like a very elegant tower that had like torches and like banners. I got a distorted cabin. I had a cabin that had ghosts in the windows. An ice cabin, like a plain Jane cabin.
So cool.
Yeah,
there's so much there.
Yeah, I believe I pulled up the B-roll of where the cabin is like a legit castle.
Yeah.
I was curious as I was playing. I was curious as we were playing if like they would have explained what you are, because there's always that moment every time you finish a princess. I was decaying, I was bony, I was scaly, and I kept like melting what it looked like, but it didn't explain like what I am or what was going on with me.
I think you are another. I really don't know how to put. I think you are another god.
Yeah, you are a god, but I was kind of like expecting them to kind of explain why you look the way you are, or like any sort of detail.
When you see your talon and the spots on your arm, and when you touch the mirror, you're like, oh, I didn't know what I was going to be.
Like, I am not human.
Yeah.
What am I? And then that leads you to like more questions about the princess just be like, hey, what's up? Like, no response to your appearance whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, which means that it's not surprising, but why?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, let's finally talk about the endings, I think. So
I got what was it? Like leaving together.
I got that as well.
What's it called? Like, yeah. Go back to where it started, and then I got the leave with her at the end of everything. And it's just. I was gonna say like the point I was making before. Like I know that that's not exactly what you meant on the like each of the vessels having a sort of agency within their own narrative, and despite whatever it is that you do there, it doesn't matter because they're going to get consumed by the god princess, whatever it is that in the memories it has her as the end of everything, but as part of the endings, right? And it's so like kind of melancholic for whatever ones that you follow. Doesn't matter whether or not you try and slay the princess, that iteration of her is going to get consumed into this entity, and you're going to have to deal with it.
See, I don't know if I agree with that though. It still isn't exactly what I meant when I put that question down.
No, I know, and I was trying to spread my thought away from that.
I was just prefacing that,
yeah.
Because I'm just as a way to say like that is what I actually admit is something I want to go back to still. But I don't necessarily agree with what you're saying there, because have any of you guys read the short story The Egg?
Yes.
I am not.
Andy.
No.
And that is so. This game has a lot of elements of The Egg, and The Egg basically it's a very short story. It is, I don't remember who wrote it off the top of my head.
I'll read it right now. It's by Andy Weir. I can pull it up.
Yeah, anyway.
Wait, the guy from The Martian?
Yep,
Yeah, the guy who wrote The Martian.
and Project Hail Mary.
All right.
And basically, it is to just give you the very basic cliff notes.
That's wonderful.
If it follows a guy who dies, he meets God, and the God was like talking about his life and everything, and it was like, okay, you're gonna go back, and you're gonna live another life, and the long and short of it is, he is everybody. He's lived through every life in the whole entire human history. He is Hitler, he is Stalin, he is the Dalai Lama, and he is an egg, and when the egg finally cracks, he will be a god. And he is like living all of these lives so he can know the human experience and like be a good god, know what it is like to live as a human so he can be a good god.
Yeah.
God is the universe.
Operate as benevolent from the shared experience of like the human experience. Yeah, cool. Yeah, man. So let's. I'm gonna kind of not necessarily tangent, but what do you think our character actually is? Who is the hero?
How do you mean? Like in the context of the world that he comes from?
So we're not given any information about the hero, right? Where the first thing we know is you're on a path, at the end of that path's a cabin, in the basement of that cabin's a princess, you're here to kill her. Right. But some of the end of everything, like some of the stuff you talked as you're talking with whatever this entity is that is the princess now, that has consumed their other iterations. They're like, well, you're the long quiet. That's what they're like. The illusion is that this character that you're inhabiting is whatever that means, and that like the long quiet is partnered with the end of everything, which is what the princess is.
Also known as the shifting mound in another ending.
As what?
The shifting mound.
Yeah, the shifting mound. That's right.
Yeah, so that is what I was. So I think the long quiet is like space. It is reality.
The structure of space-time. So basically like the negative space of it all, what holds all possibility, what holds life, what holds creation and destruction, and like she's all those things that fills in the empty space. You're the one who holds space.
So you're both anathema to each other, but partners nonetheless.
Yeah, and that is also what I did mean by when I said, do you believe the princess is right? Because the long and short of it, of the kind of the big reveals of this game is the shambling mound has trapped the princess, and you were trying to keep her trapped. He has somehow mind controlled you to keep her trapped inside this mirror, because the princess will, and everything, because that's what she does, and that's kind of what I meant, because the princess brings up this very God, what's the word? Very I can't. Very cerebral, philosophical point of everything must end. If things don't end, what is the point of life? If things don't end, nothing can begin. What is the point of living if you don't have an end? Do you believe with that?
Yeah. Death gets new life. Man, now we're getting into some. There's some of the existential stuff. Like,
I don't, for what it's worth.
You don't believe that?
Necessarily. I don't. Yeah, I like to be able to try and hold the impossible notion that everything is happening all at once, and that we just structure things into time to be able to organize it in front of us and to process the information. But there's something powerful and inundating about trying to believe that who I am, where I am right here is like a point in time, but also that point kind of blooms out to being all points all at once. At some point, you can zoom far enough out for that. And so, yes, I do love that we look at things with beginnings and ends, because it helps us to frame things. That's how we create value. That's how we create definition. That's how we, can parse through it all. But ultimately, I don't know. I like that one, the phrasing of one of the achievements, that there are no beginning, or there are no endings. There's only beginnings, because there's only beginning to look at something as opposed to it just existing. I am, we are, it is. Yeah.
So, question I have here is, what happens at the end of this game then? Because like reading through some of the like vague descriptors it has to try and lead you to these other endings, and it's like that you two are locked in basically forever together, and that there's no real ending. But there's also, you can leave together at the end, but what does that mean for the future? Like, are they going to go out and create a new world? Are they going to go out, because these are essentially two gods that are creation and destruction. But, and like they were saying, one can't exist without the other.
Are they creation and destruction, though? I don't know if I agree with that.
I mean,
yeah,
would be the same thing. I would imagine she's creation and destruction, and yeah, again, I think he's more like the thing that holds space. I don't know how to phrase that.
Right, kind of like the dark matter in between. He's that holds everything together, right? That's kind of maybe. This is fun.
Great.
I want to pull in parallels from other games, but I don't want to, because that would mean spoilers for those games.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, maybe, kind of, I don't know, when you were saying or asking your question, Anthro, it made me think of moksha from Ayurveda. So Ayurveda it's a medicinal doctrine that's kind of also a life philosophy coming out of ancient India. It's what the Vedas, it's based off of the Vedas that were written over 6,000 years ago, and it's been followed and still to this day is used. Within that religious and medicinal kind of duo doctrine, the concept of moksha is what you achieve after you've reincarnated so many times that you get to go back to where we all come from, the great primordial soup. And so you don't have to be trapped in the wheel of time anymore. You can go back to truly just being, but also technically not being, but it's where we all come from, where we all go eventually. But until you can get out, but you have to get out of the meaty, jazzy middle of the chess game, if you will. We're all stuck there. So that said, I wonder if maybe they're leaving, they're going, that version of the ending is them being moksha. I don't know. That's my brain explodes every time I try to put it in words.
Because it's like, so the achievement that the last full ending one that I got was called "And What Happens Next," and that is, and the descriptor is whatever it is, you'll face it together.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that counts as like a happy ending, but to me, it's, you know, at the end of everything, there's two entities left, right? Whether or not you agree with like that kind of, because I don't think that there's any type of agreement that you can really have with her. It's just like, no, this is going to happen. This is fact. Mm-hmm. And I do appreciate the idea that everything can exist together at the same time, and I think that's reflected in each vessel being a different iteration on the same person. Yeah. As well as you, like every voice that you have is a different iteration of who you are, whether or not, you know, your voice of the smitten or the cautious or the strong, or I don't think the strong is one, I can't remember.
And how that's different from the here, like there's, so fun fact, I have DID, dissociative identity disorder, and I have since I was born, kind of a thing, and it's, you know, grown and changed and morphed, and they nailed it in the sense of like what it can feel like when all your alters are kind of talking at once. And I think everyone exists within that type of state to some degree. And it's, I just wonder how you guys all kind of felt with like hearing all the voices arguing with each other, and like the fact that the hero is separate, like we can observe our own thoughts. And so he gets to observe his own thoughts. And that was such a cool human thing. I don't know
how slowly that happens, where it's like it starts with one voice, then another voice, and not only that, but eventually those voices push the narrator out.
Yeah, and then you're like trying to ask the narrator where he went. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, now you want to talk to me."
Yeah, but also I just made the parallel from talking about this and looking at the screen that all of those voices are the exact, they all have parallels to the vessels, right? They're all linked. And so you as the long quiet, or the shambling mound, right? Or whatever it's called, are going through the exact same like journey that the princess is, because you're all having these iterations that are they're one-to-one, right? Each vessel has the voice that's associated with it.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, like however you treat her is then what leads to her response, and so on and so forth. Like, and it even starts with not just your, I mean, like you have the thing that you'll say to the narrator in the very beginning, how you decide to approach the cabin. But then I love that you always get the choice of, do you take the knife? Do you not take the knife? Because you walk into the cabin, there's a door, there's usually a mirror, and there's often a table with a knife, and you can take it or not take it, and that affects so much. Like, I can't wait to try and play it back and take all the opposite choices.
It seems so binary, right? It seems like so clear cut of what is the first choice you make, and a lot of the first choices, regardless of what you talk to the narrator about at the start, is whether or not you take the knife. Like, that's step one, and then each one, and just that little like let's use some chaos theory, butterfly flap just cascades down into, you know, now I'm facing off against the beast, and Jesus Christ, what is that?
Oh, I love the beast. Yeah, that was so cool. Whew. God, this game's so cool.
It's really good.
Yeah, well, we've been dominating the conversation a little bit. What are you thinking about all this, Pandafinn?
I think I did not put two and two together about the voices corresponding with what princess you're encountering, which now looking at my notes makes sense, because when I first encountered her, when I was very refusing to kill her, I got the contrarian. When I was being nice to her, I got the smitten. There was a point where I got the voice of the cold, the voice of the paranoid, the voice of the broken, the stubborn, the hunted, the skeptic, the cheated, and then the opportunist. And now it's and so now I'm putting it together. I'm like, that makes sense. But yeah, I find that what Anthro was saying of like the butterfly effect, because I did encounter moments where I had the knife. I went without the knife. I got the knife and I threw it out the window because I had that as an option. And just
Sorry.
the way the thing, it gave me an option and I chose it.
I know.
Right?
But like having the different approaches to the princesses and how that affects which princess you're going to encounter of like what situation you find yourself in, and then just the whole thing with the narrator acting like, oh, there's no mirror, I don't know what you guys are talking about, this is only the first time you've been here, but then once it at the end reveals, oh, he's been aware, but he's had the facade of not knowing, so that way it could push you to slaying the princess. And then that interesting moment of talking to the narrator being a really hyper-realistic crow, and then every time you ask it a question, it's linked to the narrator keeps shattering over and over again until you are left without the narrator, and then it's just you and the hero having to make this decision of what are you going to do with the entity. I thought was very interesting. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You just reminded me it was the voice of the opportunist, because one of the endings I had, they were like, the opportunist was like, I say we take the knife. The knife is great. It's the thing we're supposed to have. And then you throw it away or something. And it's like, that was a great idea. I hate having that thing. That was just a bad idea all around. It was such a like coward piece of shit, being like, no, I'll do it with whatever they say it is. That's great. That was awesome.
God, he was so funny.
Yeah, I actually had a point where the other voices from Beyond the Loop made me throw the knife out the window. Like, I did not get even a choice in it. They were like, nope, we don't need this.
That's so
That's
funny.
cool. That's so cool.
How different they all are. It's so wild.
It's so fun because of all of our different experiences. Like, even now, I'm convinced, like, I know that we all have different vessels. Like, if all of you went to the memory screen, the gallery, we would all be different. And there's so much variation.
I just re-downloaded so I can check what I got.
Yeah.
So
it's like, oh, we're seeing the narrator thing. So there's also an achievement for just once you get to there, just being like, break the mirror, like, don't even listen to him. Mm-hmm. And just like, no, shut up, I'm done with you.
I have so many questions. I have to know. Know.
But that's the thing, is there's so many more questions that happens with. Like, you're saying, like, he's aware but not completely. Like, I don't even know if he is aware. Like, he says that, like, there's a point where he's like, it got to it got to day 3. It's not even supposed to get to day 2. And it's like, what do you mean? What is this apparatus you have us trapped in?
You know?
Well, so that's also a
anyone...
question I have. Oh, go for it.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys didn't encounter the Blade Princess, but did any of the days ever get past day 3?
I think I got the day question marks once.
I think so.
Okay.
Too. Yeah.
There was a point where I encountered the Blade Princess where she kept killing me, and it went from day 1, day 2, day 3,
Oh, like
and
day
then
12?
it was quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was like early on in my first like main run too, and I was like, is this what's gonna happen every time? Like, this is crazy. Like, 'cause I think that was in my first one, because I hadn't gotten like the first long quiet ending yet. I'm just like, okay, so this is how it's kind of like the Not for Broadcast, where all of a sudden it's like 3 months into it or something. She just killing us over and over, and the narrator's like, you're on day what? And I'm like, oh man, sorry, bud.
That also reminded me. Did you guys ever encounter the cabin where it gave you multiple paths to go down?
Yeah.
What? No.
Yeah, I had 2 encounters where it was like you go down the stairs and then it's like, do you want to go down the path of the left, the middle, or the right? I did have
that once.
Really?
I think I had that once, and I think it was with the Beast, I think, or maybe the Wild, or something. One of those.
And I'm curious because I went down one path and it became ice. I wonder if I were to go to the other paths, if it would have given me a different princess
It was not
encounter.
ice.
I never encountered ice.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Wait, so I went
Yeah.
middle. Nick, Panda, which ways did y'all?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Let me check my notes.
Okay.
I went left, and that gave me
So then I went right.
You had to.
the ice.
Okay.
I had to have.
Love that we all literally chose a different way too. But yeah, so ice on the left, heard?
Yeah, so let's see.
Yeah, and then,
Awesome.
I was just, the vessels I
and then
got.
go ahead.
The vessel I got, according to the game here, were the adversary, the tower, the specter, the nightmare, the prisoner, the damsel, the fury, and the wraith.
Okay, yeah, I didn't get the fury. I'll go through mine. I got the adversary, tower, specter, nightmare, razor, beast, witch, prisoner, damsel, wraith, moment of clarity, the wild, and the thorn.
I forgot so many. I do not have my list of mine. It would take
I don't have my list, so I'm looking at the wiki to see if I can remember the faces.
Well, fun thing is, I think the razor is the one with all the blades that y'all have been talking about. And
Mhm.
have y'all? There's an option at some point because I was like going. This is on my second run and going through achievements and looking at like what the requirements were. And there's some achievements that are like bring the heart of this to the princess. And I'm like, so not the vessel itself, but their heart. And I think I tried that with the razor because I go into the razor and the memories and everything is locked. There's no scenes for me with the razor. So I must have did something where I agreed to her. And then like at the last minute I killed her or something.
Yeah, because
Interesting.
I think Razor. That's how I first got the voice of the cheated. I was just like looking at that one for chapter 2, Razor. Voice
Or I
of the
turned
Cheated.
around and left maybe.
This game is like my brain. Who locked her in here? What aren't you telling me? Crazy interior. And then blade arm. Oh God, run. Yeah, I feel like that was one of my longer ones too. So I wonder if you just were like, oh yeah, just kidding, gonna stab her. Because for my first like easily 10 choices, I did all the non-harm things that I could do, kind of a thing. That's so
Okay. Looking at the wiki and looking at the varieties, I had the princess, the stranger, the tower, the nightmare, the specter, the razor, the damsel, the wraith, the gray,
The gray. What's the
and the moment of clarity. I killed her. I went back to the cabin, and her skeletal remains were there.
Yeah, the specter.
Yeah, and then I went to try to leave with her. She locked the door. It was a ghost of her. She locked the door, and then she set me on fire. And then we were both burning together as she slowly went from like a zombie-looking thing to a skeleton.
I had the same thing, but I let her possess me, and we walked out of the cabin together.
I did not get that option.
I walked out of the cabin with her, but not like that. That's so sick.
I can't remember
crazy.
what my. You know what? Hang on, it's in the memories. Let me look. Spectre,
so
where you at? There we go. Yes, what abandoned? Apparently at one point she ripped my heart out. But yeah, then see through her eyes at the end of it. I don't know what that means, but sure.
Oh, I think I got that or something. There was a point where it changed my POV, and she was looking at me burning.
Oh wow.
I don't know if that's the same thing, but yeah, I like my POV. I think it did this a few times where I don't know if it was when I was talking to the entity that wanted all the princesses, but there was a point where it kept shifting to the different princesses I encountered, and it kept. She was talking to me as those princesses and seeing their POV of me and like what they were doing to me.
That's so spooky.
Weird.
That's cool.
What?
So yeah, I do kind of want to go back to the whole Indians. So because I know you said Pasta, that you got the R song achievement ending as well, and I'm just curious about that. Like why did you? Because I believe you get that if you free the princess and run off together. Like why did you do that if you don't necessarily agree that death is a part of nature and a part of life?
No, I do agree that death is a part of nature and a part of life. I just don't. Sorry, I think we might have gotten wires crossed earlier. No, I wanted to be able to complete the cycle. No, I really deeply believe in cycles and things of that nature. Just that I think it was more about like the concept of time and like how time exists that I was trying to get at, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's how I got our song. Was I was trying to find some way that felt like bringing like an end to a cycle, breaking the
Like a
wheel.
closure.
Like, what does that sort of look like? What does she actually want? What are we truly doing here? It was trying to find the answer to that in some sort of a way. And I don't know, just she would begin to say things that resonated so hard, that concept of what we were getting out of like the egg by Andy Weir, where like we are each other. All of us are one being that's experiencing all these lives, and that's why time can be so spirally and funny, is because I'm me. I'm also Dan and I are the same person. You know, Nick and I, Panda and I are the same person. When you come back, you get to live with the people that you've been before, that you'll be one day, and you're all creating this crazy experience. And I love that because there's a quote, I actually pulled it up, that she says at one point, I am a growing chorus of contradiction, a mass of tides ebbing and flowing all at once, in more directions than my attention can bear to hold. To look at any one is to shift them all into something new, and to look away is to reshape them yet again. And just, yeah, I wanted to give her anything and everything. Like,
You know,
yeah.
I can't pretend to understand what the experience of having DID is, but that makes so much resonance. Like I can see that, and like you said, there's been other games I've played that have toyed with the idea of, like, I don't want to say necessarily the same dissociative or identity dissociation, but the idea of multiple consciousnesses or multiple things. Like I remember clearly, like, yeah, one saying from a game being like, I am not one, or I am not whole, like I am missing the other parts of me, or I need to decide what voice to lead whatever the chaos is inside. And it's like that's such a powerful metaphor. Like the same with this, with Slay the Princess, is like, yeah, there's that one kind of entity, whatever, I can't remember what she's called herself. I keep referring to her as the end of everything, but that's been the memories telling me that's the ending. So I don't.
That's her
She's
name
the
right
shambling mound.
No, I think the
Okay.
I think the
Right?
shambling mound is the narrator.
I thought
I thought
shifting
the
mound-
Shambling Mound was the location, shifting mound.
Oh, I could just be wrong. I'm sorry.
Whatever she is, talks
The
that same
shifting
way.
mound is the entity.
Okay.
What entity?
Wait, yeah, there's multiple entities.
The
Princess
person,
entity?
the one that is taking all the forms of the princesses. That's the
Okay,
shifting
yeah,
mound.
yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Okay, right. But
You're
God,
the
it's
long
just-
quiet.
right.
But yeah, I mean, there is so much. Just I always love all that metaphysical, like this entire metaphysical like point that this game is really driving into. It's just so much my bag. Just like we've mentioned the egg a number of times, but the concept of, I'm also reading the Wheel of Time right
sick.
now. It's just the whole concept of everything is repeating, everything is, there's no end. There's just it's just a cycle that it just repeats and repeats. And just because it repeats doesn't mean it's not something new and something different. It just means it is again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have y'all watched Futurama? I promise I have a thing here.
You're fine.
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
love Futurama totally, and I haven't seen all of it. A good chunk.
I can't remember. It's one of the episodes that was part of their like, one of like 5 times they got canceled. But it kind of toys with the idea of they have a time machine, but it can't go back. It can only go forward.
Oh yeah.
So what?
No, I think that was like the final time they got canceled before they just got rebooted.
Got rebooted again, or got brought back again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, but it happens to like, they have to. So the only way to reset is like, well, it's a loop. So we just go far enough into the future, and everything will reset again. And so it just plays with that idea of them going over and over again to try. Basically, it's all just for Fry to get like, I think it's a birthday card to Leela, right? And it's like so. Yeah, of course.
It's like the dog on
just kind of playing with that idea of a loop. But I don't know, with this game I don't get the sense of it being like a standardized time loop, right? Of being something of, we know that there is a start, but I kind of, at least for me, like to think of it as, like you were saying, there's multiple instances and we are all one. So like, let's go with multiversal theory, because of course, why not? We're in the multiverse things. But like the hero that you inhabit is that same hero regardless of whatever those voices are throughout every single iteration. The princess may be different throughout every single iteration, but each time you complete one through the day 1 to day 2, that is a solidified, like, this is what this reality was, and then you jump into a new one, and then into a new one. And
I feel like they did talk about this end game a little bit, because I do remember them a little bit talking about, like, you are in the Shambling Mound is in a prison, and you are like the warden of the prison. And that's why that's why the narrator wants you to kill the princess, because the narrator wants to keep the Shambling Mound trapped. And I believe they did say something to that effect, that like that it's like a pocket universe, and there's 1,000 different realities. And this is, even at the start of the game, this is not the first time that you have like broken free and brought her vessels, but it is like the last couple of times that is giving her enough of herself back to break out.
And voices? I should have written or taken a screenshot of that that point that you're talking about, where you've given her enough vessels to be able to trigger an ending, kind of a thing. I can't remember what your different options were. I feel like around there is where I did I just want to wait forever, but I know I played more after that one.
I do remember, because that's what that is the main point I wanted to talk about when I said, do you agree with her, is because you could like agree with her, like the death is necessary, death is an important part of life, and free her, but you could also just like walk away, but you could also try to convince her to stay.
You can also fight her.
You can fight her, which I did.
I don't.
Rage against the dying of the light.
Wait, what have you done the fight her in that moment?
I don't remember if I did. Panda, you said you did?
Yeah, I remember I fought her, because then it was a battle of her using different princesses to talk to me.
That's right.
While I had the narrators, the different voices talking to me to help me defeat her.
So
in a way,
that's how I got the last thing, is that when you do that, you don't say anything. You basically let her talk herself through it, and it's kind of like, not self-defeating, but she comes around and sees things like, hey, we can leave together and just we'll do our thing and figure this out as we go, instead of it being like a solidified, this is what has to happen, everything has to die or whatever.
And that got me to our song, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah,
talking about the princesses and you, and earlier we were talking about what does the shifting mound represent and what does a long quiet represent of life and death. Thinking about it now and of the princesses and how the shifting mound was absorbing the princesses, I feel it's the shifting mound is representing transformation and changing into what it becomes at the end, because it's essentially nothing, and then every time you give it a new vessel, it starts taking its form and changing, transforming until
just be
the final
like
point.
The concept of change itself, because that is the opposite of the long quiet, right? Long quiet can be stagnation, can be nothing. Mm-hmm. It can be,
it's
prison.
Consistency in general, because he is the same hero every time, and
like in a stasis. Yeah, and he's trapped in the loop of he's always going to have to encounter the princess. At the end of it, he's always going to go back to the beginning. And I think there is a point, I think near the end, where you have an option of, let's just go back, and it reverts everything back from like a very detailed cabin to then a rough draft of the cabin until eventually it's just lines, and then eventually it's just nothing. It's just a blank sheet of paper.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! Where it starts to break down, and that was crazy.
Like reality itself is breaking.
I don't think I got that. Yeah.
That was nuts. How did we get that? I remember that happening though, where like everything becomes more and more simplified, and it reminds me of this like reoccurring nightmare that I would have as a kid. Did you guys have this too, where like everything would just become white and would like begin to like kind of zoom out, and like you're there in this kind of like nothingness space, and then your viewpoint of that is like zooming out farther and further and further, and you're getting tinier and tinier and tinier, and it would just
never had that.
The only
that did it. That thing in the game did the same feeling. It was so scary.
The only recurring dream I ever had as a child was I was solving a mystery in a museum with aliens with Scooby-Doo.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Mine, all of my like nightmares were either from like a weird what's it called? Combination of the facehuggers from Aliens, and which I saw when I was like 7, so far too young. And also the water park Schlitterbahn in South Texas, because it uses part of the I think it's the Kamau River as its water source, so it's all fresh water, but the river is also like very mossy, so it's a like the level is obscured, and I always would I can't see there, so my brain was like, oh, there's aliens in it because I can't see what's in it, so and that was before all the liminal spaces that I started dreaming up, and all the back rooms and stuff. There was never anything there. It's just in the space of 70s and 80s style office buildings.
Ooh, I love that. Wow.
I love it. It's
so really quick, just because I need to touch on this. So first run, open up the game, 30 seconds into it, and you have all of your first choices. I tried to walk away. I'm guessing you guys have done the walk away thing at some point. Mm-hmm. So with that being my first one, I will say that like set such an incredible tone for this game, because it brings up the fractal cabins. Because I think Panda, you said that you saw the fractal cabins. Did you all as well?
I don't. That doesn't ring a bell.
Because that was just like one of the craziest things, and like at one point. So he gives you all those choices, and I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I try to walk away, and he's like, you are so selfish. You're really gonna do this? Okay, hold on. So for real, it's like the only thing you can do. You need to go slay the princess. We're gonna go back to the cabin now. I was like, no, the fuck I'm not. I'm gonna go down that path. It's like, okay,
fine. So you walk down that other path in the woods, and then, oh wait, what's that? It's the cabin. Oh wait,
Yeah.
what's that? It's more cabins. It's 1,000 cabins. It's 1,000,000 cabins. And
Yeah, I did do that.
in every direction, there is a path and a cabin, and not just a cabin, the cabin. An infinite fractal of paths and cabins desperately trying to draw you back to where you need to be. Because of that beginning, because of the fractalization, because then the what can we say to her? And then she cracks into two and then cracks into more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
All being my first thing.
Wow.
And then wanting to try and figure out, because it says in the beginning, this is a love story. I was like, okay, well, obviously I want to fall in love. I love falling in love. So there was this constant, how many different versions of this world are there? And also, can love save everything? That's kind of what led to the Our Song ending for me.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I don't know, just the fractaling of the cabins freaked me out so bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Also, going off of that, just realizing, I don't know if that's a subtle foreshadowing of that there's multiple princesses, but if that were to
Right.
be your first encounter of the game of walking away and there's multiple cabins,
I was like, you can't.
that
leave
Yeah.
that gives a hint of by the way, you're gonna think it's just one princess. No, each cabin is gonna be a different princess.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
infinite.
Yeah.
What? Oh my god.
I
And that really fast.
This game does the BioShock Infinite ending way, way better.
I still need to play BioShock.
Don't,
Well, okay, hold on. Yeah. Bioshock
but-
Infinite's ending was okay. It was fine.
So who is the
It is
narrator?
probably the worst aged game. But
Worst
anyways, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, who is the narrator? Because I thought the princess and the narrator were the same person.
no the
No.
No, the narrator is. Are
Because
you talking about voice actor, or are you talking about what he is?
His story. Yeah.
Oh, I think he was. That's a good question. I think he's not necessarily a god like you guys. I think he's a being that. What is he?
It's somebody a facilitator, right? But maybe when I think about how did this loop essentially, how did this occur? And it's well, obviously the Long Quiet is the warden for the prison that the Shambling Mound is in, right? So the narrator has been a creation by someone, maybe you, as a failsafe to say no, go stop it, so that basically prolong the stasis.
What is do you know that effect when people will bring it up when you're climbing mountains and you're getting close to death and you just need to press on a little bit more, and all of a sudden you imagine a person is next to you, and it's maybe it's your friend or it's someone else on the mountain. They're like, yeah, we got it, we can do it, let's get going. And it gets your brain creates that simulated person to help you do what needs to be accomplished. And I wonder if it's maybe that to a degree. So it's another one of your voices.
well no
I just
because
felt
the narrator
very
is
manipulated.
the narrator is the guy that you talk to with all the mirror pieces disappearing.
Yeah.
And he's
Right,
trying
but
to
it's-
grow.
He's separate.
But it's part of the mirror, right? Which has always been reflective of parts of you. So, and you can only see the narrator once the mirror is broken.
When we broke the mirror, did we see the narrator?
Yeah,
Well, I
he's
mean,
a crow.
we're talking about the experience with the narrator as all the shards are being broken as you're asking it questions, and it's well, it's a mirror is still a mirror, even if it's in shards. Right. So this is just my theory, right? A game theory. This is my theory of that the narrator is part of you, like you were saying, maybe it's another voice, but separate from the rest. Because you're the only one that hears it. The princess doesn't hear the narrator.
Yeah.
No, I did have a few moments where the princess did hear the narrator.
I did as well.
The narrator was talking to me, and then the princess was kind of talking back to the narrator and being wait, she shouldn't be able to hear me.
Yeah.
Now I think about that, I think I remember hearing that too, or seeing that too.
Maybe the narrator's like the will of the world, sort of. So it's like the individual
reality
flavors of each reality, kind of a thing,
Mhm.
like to personify it, if you will. How crazy!
which also kind of explains his ignorance to each successive like iteration.
Yeah.
Because like, and we can
Well, he
we can
should-
argue whether or not he actually is ignorant to those, because he mentions
That's
things like he
right.
kind of
No.
knows a little more, but not really. But like, even so, he's like he's kept in the dark from a lot of stuff.
Or is he just
Right.
lying? Because that's the sense
Or
I
is
got
he
at
lying?
the end, that he was
Yeah.
aware the whole time, and he was just lying. Because he
Mm-hmm.
knows that if he tells you that he remembers, then that would like break the illusion and might help you like
Mm-hmm.
realize what is going on.
Yeah.
So we can all agree that we shouldn't slay the princess, right?
No, I 100% agree we should slay her, and I have no problem doing it over and over.
I mean, it depends on what. Look, I follow with the Champlain Mound. Like, I have to do whatever she wants. So, especially whichever that Dami one was. What was it again?
I think that was the tower, which I think everyone said that they got. So I don't know why it
Oh.
was so different for me.
I don't think I got the tower.
I got the tower. I just
No.
don't remember it. But maybe it was
I
another one that I
remember-
killed like straight out, because I don't have any memories from it. So,
I remember she knocked me out, she beat me up, and then like she became like a towering goddess towards me, and I was like,
Okay,
okay,
go on.
well, hold on now. I
Okay.
was like, oh, all right, we're about to be a different kind of slave if you keep this up.
Alrighty. Well, does anybody have any final thoughts, I think, before we go on to pick our next game?
play this game. It's not expensive. There is a crap ton of content. If you like narratives, this is perfect for you. It's not like a typical visual novel. It is something that's a little bit more subversive and subtle, and also it has narration, so you have no reason to complain.
And after playing this game, I definitely want to check out the other game that they worked on, Scarlet Hollow.
Yes,
Yeah,
same.
I have it pulled up on my wish list. Also, Narrowscope is later this fall, but in June there will be the Interactive Fiction Festival, and that's actually going to be it's in the U.S. It's in just outside Albany, New York. So if you're in the Northeast and you're interested in interactive fiction and want to meet some other people who create these kind of games, enjoy these kinds of games, and all of the other things, come hang. There's going to be some really cool talks. It's going to be a lot of fun stuff. I'll be there. So you have a friend there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Cool.
just to just
Interactive fiction.
reiterate once again, the game we have been discussing is Slay the Princess, published by, developed by Black Tabby Games, and the amazing voice acting was done by
Jonathan Sims and I wrote it down. Jonathan Sims and Nichole Goodnight.
Nichole Goodnight, I think it is, but
Now, where did I put Nichole?
I don't know. And then the art that you have been seeing on the B-roll as well was done by the one and only Abby Howard. Again, round of applause for all of them on the brilliant work, Black Tabby Games, and the two voice actors and the amazing artists on this game that sounds like we all thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah. I need to go back and get all the achievements. That's the thing I'm gonna do with it. So
This might be the first game I ever 100%, other than Kingdom Hearts 1, but that doesn't count. That was forever. But yeah, for real, this will probably be the first game I ever completely 100, and I will keep doing it until I get that 100. Jeez.
Yeah, and also thank you to Anthrometal for a great pick.
Yeah, for real.
Yay.
Nailed
You're
it.
welcome.
So, and now we turn our attention to Pandafinn.
Okay, so I was gonna go for one game that I've been playing recently, but I don't know if it would have been a good pick. It is a fun story, but it is a city builder game, so we're gonna put that aside, and we're just gonna go to a simple game that started it all, a simple game developed by Starbreeze Studios and published by 505 Games. You know him, you love him. Fuck the Oscars. Josef Fares, we're gonna go Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
Okay.
The game
No idea.
that is the pivot, the pioneer to the hit games A Way Out and It Takes Two and Split Fiction, where it is a single player game. You are going to be controlling two characters with one controller.
Whoa.
But
It's very weird.
Yeah. I will say it is a very fantastic game that I have played and perfected on both the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, and I want to get the remaster version.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
for those who don't know, you control two brothers and their journey. It's a tale of two sons, if you might want to say, and the description is a man clinging to life. His two sons, desperate to cure their ailing father, are left with but one option. They must set out upon a journey to find and bring back the water of life. As they come to rely on one another to survive, one must be strong where the other is weak, brave where the other is fearful. They must be brothers.
It must be.
It's brothers. It's called brothers. It's thing about brother.
Am I looking
sorry,
at the right one? You said it's Avant-Garde SRL, 505 Games. Is that
It's
right?
by 505
505 Games.
Starbreeze and 505.
Are we
But,
not
it's-
the remake? I'm on Steam right now.
So
There's-
I think there's probably three of them. Because I remember playing this as an Xbox 360. I don't know if it was an arcade title, but it was definitely
Xbox 360 Live Arcade, and then it was brought to current consoles of Xbox One and PS4, and then recently they
and there was a
remastered.
remake. Yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't played the remake. I plan on doing it, but you could play the regular $14.99 on Steam right now,
Oh,
and it's
Yeah. Here you go. I got a link.
it's still a good story. And I am curious to
this is a journey you will never.
I'd be curious once we talk about the game, your guys' interpretation and take on it, because this is a game. Spoilers: there's no narration except for two words.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's very. It is it because I haven't replayed it since I completed it on 360, but I will definitely get it again because I have a couple achievement lists to go through.
Hell yes.
And because it's our game. Hello.
Yes, of course. I mean, no, I honestly I have this one, like, I remember it. I remember so many beats of it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wait, Dan, do you know this game?
I did play it a little bit. I don't think I've finished it.
Okay, I have no idea what this game is, so I'm excited to go
Oh
online.
my god!
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for them to hear it.
Yes.
Well, and it's so. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's very clear. You see the blueprint for what's his thing called Haze Light. What Haze Light
Yeah.
became. You can see it here.
Gotcha.
Like this is. I think this was their first game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, because after this game, it's A Way Out. And what's interesting is there's a reference of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons within A Way Out. Same with how like Split Fiction has a reference to A Way Out in their game.
Cute.
Or It Takes
But
Two
also-
is A Way Out.
It Takes Two. That's what I was trying to think. I was like, what's the divorce game?
The divorce game. Oh, yeah, that's. Oh, cool.
The
Oh, I'm
voice game, that's
excited.
the one
I'm
game
excited. Yep. Yeah. It very much did.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
But yeah, the Brothers: Tale of Two Sons. That is our next game for the month of April, month of May. Now this is a pretty late episode, so what do you guys want to do? Do you want to try to make our usual record date and give us like only 2 2-3 weeks to do this, or do you want to push I guess all episodes of the show forward a little bit now?
Do we know a time estimate on the game?
It's not terribly long.
Yeah, I would say you can probably beat it within, give or take, 4 to 6 hours. Like it's not super long. It's a very short narrative driven game.
Oh yeah, we're out of the spoiler zone. Huh.
Oh, yep.
Main story, completionist run 4 hours. Okay.
Yeah, it's not terribly long at all.
OMG's in the
Yeah, in
chat
that
says
case,
three.
I'm down.
OMG's in the chat says 3.5 hours according to how long to beat.
Yep.
Heard.
So-
Thank you, Jerry. I would say, how do we feel about like May 11th?
I think that is our usual
Yep.
record date. Yeah.
I like 3 weeks in general, so maybe like, and I don't know how we feel about that. But
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we can discuss that off camera. But yeah, this
Yeah.
has been the
we're
safe
already
point.
off camera. Sorry, everybody.
Well, yeah, this has been the Save Point Society. Thank you all for watching. Again, Brothers Tale of Two Sons is our next game, so play along if you want, and join us next time. We will keep you posted, but unless you hear anything differently, we'll probably be back here May 11th. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.